Ayo, and what is up, gang? Thank you so much for joining me here again on the channel today. It is Sunday, the 17th of September, and we have got some breaking news to cover. The WWE is planning to have a second Hell in a Cell match at the upcoming SmackDown Live Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We're going to talk about that. We have reports of an NXT star losing their home due to Hurricane Irma. We're going to talk about that. We got John Cena talking with Michael Kay this week over at ESPN about his feud with Roman Reigns and why I take issue with some of the comments that he said. All of that and so much more right here, right now, on the newest, fastest rising podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. So, let's do this one. All right, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining us here once again today. My name is Nick Nightmare. Joined along with me, as always, is the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones. Look at him. Look at his piece of hardware. We upgraded the title belt because there is no one that comes close to Blue, the Snowball Microphone, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones. And we are here today to bring to you our breaking news. And let's kick this thing off with the Hell in a Cell news. The WWE planning a second Hell in a Cell match at SmackDown Live's upcoming pay-per-view. Mr. McMahon returned to SmackDown Live this week and announced that Kevin Owens will face Shane McMahon in a Hell in a Cell match at the upcoming pay-per-view of the same name. Though now it appears that won't be the only match taking place inside the infamous steel structure at the upcoming exclusive pay-per-view. According to Ryan Satin of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, the WWE is planning another Hell in a Cell match between the New Day and the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. It's worth noting here that there's no mention of the WWE Championship match taking place inside a steel structure on the official page for the pay-per-view on WWE.com, and it's speculated that that match will not be contested inside the cage, thank God. So if WWE does plan to make the tag title match a Hell in a Cell bout, it would be the second match to take place inside the cell that night. Considering the performance of both these teams in their last few encounters, it looks to be the right choice to have their next match take place inside the unforgiving steel structure. I could not agree more with that last statement. I don't mind the booking of the Usos and the New Day in the Hell in a Cell. The main underlying point being that once this match is over, I don't ever want to see them touch again. Because that would be the point of a Hell in a Cell. They're actually booking and using the Hell in a Cell properly in this case. It's really the only match that has a feud of any magnitude at all that has been ongoing and hot. I mean, I think it's even bigger than Shane and Kevin Owens. Except for what's at stake. You know what I mean? We got the tag team championships up for grabs in the Hell in a Cell with the top two teams in the division. Maybe the only two teams in the division, if we're being honest. But this match has to come and go, and then we have to move past one of these teams. Whoever comes out with the win here, fine. The only other issue I take up with this whole thing is that currently it is being reported that Kofi Kingston may have suffered an injury during their latest tour overseas, and that Big E Langston is the only remaining member of the New Day that can wrestle at all due to injury. So it'll be interesting to see how they play this out. If they make the New Day come out and drop the tag team championships, then how is this match going to even take place? It definitely seems like the timing of this news and the timing of the injury probably are coincidental. You know what I mean? They probably went to announce this news and now they have to deal with the Kofi Kingston situation. We're going to have to keep our eye on that because I'm actually looking forward to this. If this match can happen, this would be Probably the better of the two matches of that night. It's the only match, like we said, that really calls for a Hell in a Cell style blow-off, in which case we could finally put this whole thing to rest and maybe move to a new tag team. I say give it back to the Usos and let them build up a feud with Gable and Benjamin. I think there's money in the making right there, and let the New Day sit off on the sidelines, rest up, and come back later on and win however many times you want them to win. It's never going to make them the greatest tag team of all time. Doesn't matter what you do, but they can still come back and be the New Day at any time. Let them go rest up, heal up, let Xavier go play his Dragon Ball Z, let Big E maybe have a little solo spotlight for a little while, let Kofi, he's an old man like me, let him rest up, and let's see where all this goes. That's what I would do in this situation. Give it back to the Usos regardless. If they can have this match at the pay-per-view, great. Let the Usos beat them in the Hell in a Cell and then make the New Day go away for a while. It's obvious that they're running hard and that they've been redlining for a while. They need to step aside. Nobody's going to miss them, and when they come back, everybody will be even the happier. They can have a new color scheme, they can come up with new booty jokes, and it'll be fantastic. Moving along. John Cena. Okay, John Cena appeared on ESPN's Michael Kay show this week. I'm a very, very big fan of Michael Kay. I've listened to Michael Kay for maybe the last 15 to 20 years of my life because he is the definitive place to go for the New York Yankees coverage, and I don't care whether you like that or not. I love my New York Yankees, and Michael Kay, probably the premier Yankee broadcaster ever of all time. Great guy. The show was also co-hosted by Peter Rosenberg. And you guys know Berg, right? You remember Berg? He's the pre-show guy with the bald head who thinks he knows what he's talking about. He's got the lead on Bring It to the Table for WWE Network. You know that guy. He's the schmuck with the bald head who's pretty much chewing the company bubblegum for these guys, even though he's supposed to be one of us. Let's move along from that. John Cena spoke about a number of topics, including the projects he's currently working on outside the WWE, being an inspiration to fans around the world, working with Roman Reigns, and which hypothetical sports rivalry he thinks best compares his feud with Reigns. Which is where I have a real big problem. And we're going to get to that in a second. Cena says he's currently finishing voiceover work for an animated film called Ferdinand. Who cares about that? Cena's also going to be in the upcoming Transformer movie spinoff for Bumblebee, which everybody knows by now, and as of right now, his next movie is headed to China with the WWE, where they're all hanging out and having a good time as we speak right now. When asked if it's difficult to be an inspiration to so many young fans, which I don't really think he is anymore, but we're not going to detract on that, Cena says he has great perspective of what he does. Every day he realizes it's a gift to be in his position, and being a WWE superstar is an amazing opportunity to reach people. That's a very standard, very corporate answer. It's absolutely nothing wrong with what he said there. Moving on. Regarding his feud with Roman Reigns, here's where we get a little fizzy, people. Rosenberg says he feels Cena versus Reigns is like a modern-day Hogan versus Warrior. Rosenberg, you are off your fucking rocker, bro. I understand the comparison between Cena and Hogan. That is almost undeniable. He is the modern-day Hulk Hogan. But to compare Roman Reigns to the Ultimate Warrior is ludicrous. Maybe it's not. Let's take a look at it for a second, you guys. The Warrior was pretty much a 3-move act. He couldn't cut a promo, and he was pretty much looked down upon in the back. Okay, we can't say that about Roman. Everybody loves Roman in the backstage. The fans don't love Roman, but other than those two comparisons of being like pretty much a 5-move guy, and there is no other comparison between the two. You cannot put Roman Reigns in the same league as a guy with the Ultimate Warrior. Sure, the Ultimate Warrior was not the greatest as far as wrestling ability. Neither is Roman. He wasn't the greatest at cutting a promo. Neither is Roman. But the Ultimate Warrior was a charismatic explosion of a character. He blew the doors off the WWE. I was always more of a Hogan guy back in those days, but that, nonetheless, you cannot deny the unbelievable appeal and charisma that came with that package of the Ultimate Warrior, all of which Roman Reigns does not possess. That is not a proper analogy. It really is not. moving on from there, let's get back to my spot here. Talking about the Hogan Warrior thing, it's the company's two top baby faces. Wrong, because in order to be a baby face, the fans would actually have to be behind you, which they are not in this case. Colliding with one another, and fans are split on who they're supporting. No, they're really not. Cena says he prefers to equate the Reigns feud to famous sports rivalries like New York versus Boston. Are you kidding me? Do you really think this feud that you've been building up over just the last couple of weeks is on the same scale as something like a Yankees-Red Sox 100-year-long rivalry? Are you smoking dope? I can't see that. What are you, fucking crazy? He then goes on to get even crazier. He thinks the most accurate comparison is Michael Jordan versus LeBron James in a game of one-on-one. He is out of his mind. John Cena versus Roman Reigns is more like Dennis Rodman versus Karl Malone back from WCW days. Nobody wants to see this. Nobody cares who wins. Nobody cares who loses. How dare you equate yourself to two of the greatest men to ever step foot on the court of basketball? First of all, comparing pro wrestling to an actual sporting event is ludicrous. It's absolutely crazy. You cannot draw any comparisons between the two. That's crazy. The man is out of his mind. Michael Jordan versus LeBron. What? Get the hell out of here. Like Michael Jordan, he considers himself to be very competitive. Everybody who does wrestling or sports in any fashion is a competitive person, so that doesn't matter. And wants to make sure the WWE's future is in good hands with Reigns positioned as the top babyface for this next coming era. The man is off his rocker. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. He's totally sitting here, corporate WWE bot. I am Cena bot. I say what Vince needs to be said, and I do what WWE needs to be done. I have no emotion, and I will say what the script tells me that I need to say. You cannot see me. I can't. Absolutely crazy. This goes on. Rosenberg asks Cena if it was weird getting cheered lately after a certain segment of the audience has been so outspoken against him for years. Cena says, yeah, it's weird, but the WWE audience and live events are always unpredictable, and every week is exciting. No, they're not unpredictable, and people are cheering for John Cena because that's just how much we do not want to see the next top babyface be given to Roman Reigns. They would rather see the original version than this cheap knockoff that they're trying to pull off with Roman Reigns. Nobody wants to see it. We want to see Roman Reigns take off the vest, knock off this Shield bullshit, and become something greater than he is. He has the potential to do it, but he's being held back by WWE Creative. It's really not this guy's fault that everything's going so south, but they just don't see the writing on the wall and won't pull the trigger on changing anything. And it's making everything horrible. This whole interview with Michael Kay was nothing more than WWE corporate bull to try to further and promote this matchup as something bigger than what it is. Really. I'm done with that. Let's move on to a little bit more serious news. NXT star and current Mae Young Classic competitor Lacey Evans took to Instagram this week to announce that she lost her home, her appliances, her clothes, and personal possessions due to Hurricane Irma in Florida. Evans isn't too much worried about her home or clothes or things that can be replaced, but she is very much hurt by losing some photos of her late father that she was attempting to recover. That is pretty sad. And I know firsthand what that feels like, being a victim of Hurricane Sandy back in the day. We totally got wiped out. We live in a basement apartment. I lost every single thing I had, and I can absolutely relate to what Lacey Evans is going through, and I feel terrible for her, and I wish her the best, of course, and we wish everybody that has been affected by this whole thing nothing but the best, and it does get better. It takes a while, but it will get better, and life will soon feel normal. It will be different, and it'll never be the same, but you're still here, and that's the most important thing, right? So you learn, you adjust, life goes on as it should. In other news, Pertaining to the Mae Young Classic, Princessa Suhei, recent Mae Young Classic tournament competitor, lost in a mask versus mask match on Saturday and revealed her face to the world. Princessa Suhei faced off against, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, I'm not sure exactly how to say this, Zeusis, maybe? I don't know. In a 2 out of 3 falls match at CMLL's 84th anniversary show in Mexico City, and lost after she was hit with a Spanish fly from the top rope. Princessa has now become the first woman to lose her mask on a CMLL anniversary show. My whole reason for even reporting this portion of the news, as it doesn't really seem to be a big deal, but in the culture of Lucha Libre, it is a big deal to lose your mask, and it really only signifies one of two things. Either you're going to retire from the ring altogether, or you are going to give up your current gimmick and begin a new gimmick and start from the scratch again and build yourself up under a new name and a new character and a new persona. The timing of this is very peculiar to me, as I wonder very much if the WWE has anything to do with this. Maybe during the Mae Young Classic they reached out to Princessa and maybe they signed this girl. Maybe one of the contractual caveats that they threw in there was, listen, we don't want you to wrestle in the mask. Much like they did to Alberto Del Rio. They made him take his mask off. And they made Sami Zayn take his mask off. He was famously known throughout the independents as El Generico. Everybody knows who he was. They made him take his mask off. It made him be Sami Zayn. They made Del Rio take his mask off. Maybe this is their way of removing the mask before she debuts for the WWE. Maybe before she gets down to the Performance Center, she is now christened anew. And she has her real name, and she showed her face to the world, and she looked to be very proud of it. I just believe it's going to be the beginning of a new chapter for her. She's 37 years old already. I don't know how much longer she's going to be able to go. She's been wrestling for the last 20 years of her life, which is damn impressive. And if this is going to be her big chance, and that was the thing they needed from her, she had obviously no problem doing it. I'm very surprised, especially given her recent exposure in the Mae Young Classic, that she would do something like this. So I can't help but feel like some sort of outside force has influenced this decision and have made this match have the outcome that it did in the end. And at least that's what I hope. Or maybe she's really going to hang it up. I don't know. There's no real further news on the aftermath of her losing her mask. But, in that culture, in the lucha culture, losing your mask is a big deal. It's something that they pride themselves after. They build their whole career on. You had one of the greatest lucha stars of all time. I forget his name now. I'm sorry that I just had it and I just lost it. But this guy was so protective of his character. He did not reveal his real name until he was in his really, really old age, and then actually was buried wearing his mask. That's how much they keep these things to the heart. Rey Mysterio was widely against WCW taking his mask off of him. He never wanted his heritage and his Mysterio lineage to be disrupted like that. He's never once done that again since he's come back to the WWE, and he's never lost his mask again because that's what he wanted. WCW just did not know what to do. And he just wanted to get paid and be on TV, so he did whatever they said, obviously. But something like losing your mask is huge. So it'll just be much more interesting to see what her future actually entails at this point. Like I said, I hope that it leads to her showing up at NXT, or maybe even right to the main roster. She probably has enough experience to get inserted right onto either of the main shows. We need as many girls as possible. Hopefully, we get a lot of the girls from the Mae Young Classic brought up very, very quickly, and we get this shindig started. And I don't think they should waste any time if their plans really are to have another Mae Young Classic this coming summer. I personally don't think we need that so soon. I would much rather them do another tournament. Everybody's talked about how they were supposed to do a tag team tournament, upgrade the Dusty Classic to its own special. I would much prefer to see a King of the Ring take place. I would also like to see maybe an Intercontinental Championship tournament. You could do all kinds of tournaments, man. The success of the tournament is there. The Mae Young Classic was the number one thing on the network this month. Number one. All 9 episodes. The top 10, in the top 10 shows, the top 10 are all Mae Young. Fantastic. It's proven that the formula works. So let's go with it. Let's continue it. Let's not run it into the ground. Let's have some time to digest the girls we've already gotten to taste over here and let them season the entree that is the WWE. You know, sprinkle a few over in NXT, call up a few right to the main roster, a couple of here, a couple of SmackDown, a couple of Raw, boom. Let them develop over the next year, maybe 2, and then you can go out and get a new crop. Maybe some of the girls don't work out, but don't flood us with the women now. I really, really enjoyed what I got right now. I want to see more of them. I don't need to bring more new faces to crowd the pool. Let's enjoy what we got in the pool right now and swim with them and see who drowns and who stays afloat and who goes above and beyond. Doing a big old springboard backflip off the top rope right into the pool, impressing the world, much like Kairi Sane did throughout the entirety of the Mae Young Classic. That's what we got today, you guys. Nice and easy, nice and short. A couple little news blips. Got my opinions out there for you guys. Don't forget, before you leave this channel, to check out in the description below the link to our sponsor right here, Clutch Chairs, our very first and very, very special sponsor. All you got to do is click that link. Don't cost you anything. Just click it, go to the site, check out the WWE merch. It's there. If you feel the need to buy yourself one of the badass chairs that are there, go right ahead and do so. If you want to check out the cool desks they got there, you could do that too. You can just click the link for me and then leave the site. That's all you need to do. Help this show, support this show by checking out Clutch Chairs. Don't forget to do that. And also, if you enjoyed this show or you enjoyed anything and everything you've seen on this channel this week, lots of cool new stuff. My birthday special was yesterday. Don't forget to check that out if you have not done so already. Smash that thumbs up button for me. I'll wiggle it around right here for you. Make sure you hit it while I'm doing this. It's a good exercise, good practice for you. Smash that thumbs up. Hit this video's like and let us know that you enjoy everything we're doing here. If you are not part of the Sledgehammer Club already, and you have not subscribed to this channel, this would be the ideal time to do so. Hit that subscribe button, ring-a-ding-ding, that little bell that's right next to that, so you will always be up to date, right to the minute, every single time a video drops right here on YouTube.com. That is going to do it, and we are out of here. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the World Champ of microphones, Blue the Snowball microphone. Thank you so much, and this has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. We will see you next time. That ending sucked.